Hi, I'm Melissa Fuller-Kilgore, one of the LLL League leaders here in Shreveport, Bossier City, Louisiana, USA.
I'm Megan Wells, a LLL League leader from Seattle, Washington, USA. Let's go find a computer and talk a little bit more about online meetings.
In our session today, we'll be talking about leading LLL League series meetings online. But to give you a little bit of background, we first wanted to talk about some of the benefits of hosting meetings online. More and more frequently, we're finding parents online, particularly parents in a younger demographic. Some of our leaders have reported that they're now getting 4 to 5 as many helping requests as they had before they were hosting online meetings. Part of that is that they're reaching different demographics and people in different geographic regions than they would through in-person outreach only. It's also a great option for those who may lack transportation, time, are in an isolated area, or are uncomfortable attending an in-person meeting. We'd also like to say that an online meeting certainly won't replace an in-person meeting. There's nothing like meeting a parent face-to-face and being able to have a conversation with them, see their baby, see how they're nursing, and be able to help provide that in-person support. However, there are people who may not be comfortable or just can't attend. And so offering an online meeting as their first introduction to LLL League can often result in a local parent coming to an online meeting who then begins to attend an in-person meeting after that once they've become a little bit more comfortable, met the leaders, met some of the other parents. It's much easier to share resources. You can link to places like our own LLL League website, to any of our tear sheets, as well as external resources such as Kelly Mom and videos from IBCLCs. Some leaders may find that an online meeting fits into their life a little bit easier than in-person meetings depending on their stage. And shy or quieter in-person group attendees sometimes find it easier to get involved in a conversation where they have a little bit of time to think and formulate their thoughts. The bullets that we just referenced above are from a presentation that I did a couple of months ago called Online Outreach that we'll link in our resources at the end of this presentation. Also included in that presentation is some information on different social media platforms that can help you decide which platform might be right for your group in specific situations. For the purposes of this presentation, we're going to be talking about hosting meetings specifically on Facebook.
Thank you, Megan, for talking about the benefits. I'm now going to cover some of the myths and concerns about running an online meeting. If you're concerned about being a lone leader and won't be able to keep up, well, with an online meeting, you're never alone. I've attended Megan's meetings over in Seattle, and she's attended my meetings here in Louisiana. I've even had leaders from New Zealand and Canada attend my online meetings. It's quite amazing to have co-leaders from around the world join you online. If you're concerned about not being a fast typer, or if autocorrect hates you, I have some ideas for that too. You can try some voice-to-text options. You can try pre-recording a video, or you can use Facebook Live. You'll also find that many of your attendees have realistic expectations of what you can do. I also like using a free add-on to my browser called Grammarly to catch grammar mistakes. If you're afraid that no one will attend, well, it is very similar to in-person meetings that you do have to advertise. However, the benefit is you can advertise right from your computer. If you're concerned that it's going to replace your in-person meetings, as Megan said, it shouldn't. Face-to-face meetings are amazing, and there are some people that will attend online and gain confidence to attend that in-person meeting for the first time. If you're concerned that you're not artistic or a graphic designer, well, this session will actually cover some basic graphic design. Or if you don't want to do that, you can lovingly lift from those images that we've created and shared in our Google Drive, or skip the images altogether. If you've never attended an online meeting before and you don't know what to do, well, just like in in-person meetings, there are a number of online meetings held every month with the benefit that you don't have to drive anywhere. And many of us would love to have you join in to see what we do. If you're concerned that it's too complicated and it would be hard to set up, well, this session will walk you through step by step on how to set up, plan, and lead online meetings, and you'll realize that it isn't complicated at all. Let's talk about setting up that Facebook group. In setting up a Facebook group, some things to consider are first, what is the difference between a Facebook page and a Facebook group? Just like you may have a personal profile, a Facebook page is your profile for your organization, for sharing information about what is going on to the public. A Facebook group is there for discussion. You may be familiar with this for having daily conversations. However, Megan and I find it helpful to have a separate group for online meetings that only goes active during that online meeting time. In doing this, people in the group get notifications that the meeting has started and they jump in to join in the discussion. When setting up the group, you do have to make some decisions about some of the settings. Will you allow the participants to post to the group, or will you make it admins only? I prefer having admins only, and I request all questions to be posted underneath a question thread. You will also have to decide the privacy settings for your group. Will it be an open group that anyone can join and anyone can see the conversations going on? Or a closed group that's a little bit more private, where anyone can search and find the group and then request to join, but an admin must approve that request. And all conversation held within the group is private to just those group members. Or a secret group that cannot be found when searched and only can be joined with a link or being added by an admin. Facebook events can be set up in both a Facebook page or in a Facebook group. Some leaders prefer to hold their online meetings within events. If you're going to do this, make sure you set up that event within a group and not on your Facebook page. Some of the drawbacks that I found with Facebook events is that the event is not searchable, and the images that are shared there are not linked into the group, so they cannot be viewed later outside of the event. Some of the reasons why some leaders choose to host online meetings and events is that it adds separation between the event and the group members for a little bit of extra privacy. However, those group members can still get into the event and view what was discussed unless the event has been archived. This also does easily organize each event together in separate areas. Now let's go see how to create a group, an event, and post in each of those, and how to make images for your online meeting. To create a group, click Group on the left side of the Facebook homepage. Then click Create Group in the upper right. Fill out the name of the group. This should probably include online meeting, LLL, or LLL League, and your location. You will have to add someone to the group. I suggest adding a co-leader or a friend while getting it set up. Then select the group's privacy setting as discussed before. If in doubt, select Closed Group. I'm going to have this group pinned to shortcuts so it's easier to find. Then click Create. Now choose your group's icon that will help you visually notice this group in notifications. I like to upload a cover image first, but don't forget to save changes. Now we can start making posts. I like to drag from my download bar and type from the image preview, but there are other ways of doing this. Whether you hold your online meeting in the group or in an event, I recommend you create an event to help advertise your meeting. You may have to click More to get to events. Once there, you can add an event photo, meeting name, or topic. The location should say if it will be in the event or in the group, and you can also put a link. Set the start date and time, then add a description about the meeting, and maybe about LLL League and your group. To prevent spam, I like to click Anyone can post, but a host must approve the post. Depending on the group size, you may be able to invite all members of the group or just your Facebook friends when the group gets large. Here's the event. If holding the meeting here, you would post right in this discussion area. For future events, you can duplicate this event here, then update as needed. If holding the meeting in the event, don't forget to direct the group to the event with the link in a group post, or host your meeting right in the group. All pictures posted in the group will be easily found in the Photos area. Now to create those photos. Canva.com is my preferred way to create images. Simply select the design type. We'll use Facebook posts, then get inspired by their layout or edit one. Let's work off of this one. In the upload area on the left, you can add logos from areas like our shared Google Drive and from the leader resource area of LLLI.org and free source images from places like Pixabay. Let's use this one. After uploading, just drag and drop it onto the image. Resize it larger than the image and it will snap into the background. Click on an element to move or edit it. Update the text for your meeting. Try different colors. While text is selected, you can toggle between all capital letters or standard mix of capital and lowercase. Click spacing to adjust the line spacing or the spacing of the letters. There were also dotted lines to help you center or align elements. While an image is selected, you can apply preset filters to make your own adjustments. I want a greater contrast between the image and the text. To help with this, in the upper right, I can make the image more transparent. Flipped in gray looks great. Now to copy it and edit it for the rest of the meeting's images. You can arrange elements forward or backward to adjust the look or to help you select something. Okay, finished. Now download the PNG image in a zip file or individually.
Now we're going to talk about planning your meeting. At the end of the day, planning your meeting is just like a regular series meeting with a few extra components. First off, you're going to want to pick your topic. Is this going to be a regular series meeting, or is it going to be an enrichment type meeting? You can create a new meeting, or you can borrow from another group. Just like our LLLI database of meeting ideas, Melissa has created an online Google Drive that contains previous topics, slides, and memes that other groups have used, and it sorts them by series meeting numbers so that you can find them easily. If you're new to online meetings and you're a little bit nervous, it can help to see how others have created their topics and borrow from what folks before have done. Next, you're going to plan your discussion points. Do what makes sense for you, but generally when Melissa and I do online meetings, we include things like title slides so that people know what the meeting's going to be about, an introduction thread, the USA diversity statement, as well as a question thread. Obviously, you're going to have your discussion questions and then some sort of closing thread where you can redirect people to a chatter group, a public page, to your website, or invite them to your next in-person meeting. Once you've done that, you're going to create memes using something like Canva. We have a few resources listed at the end, or choose another delivery method such as videos or simply plain text into a status box. Also, consider inclusion when you are typing up your memes. We've begun including accompanying text with images for those who may be using a reading program or an app in order to attend the meeting. You can also store all of your meeting materials in an easily accessible location. This will make it easier for you once the meeting begins to post your content. Some leaders choose to put it onto their desktop in a file folder. Others post it into an admin-only group so that whether they're at their desktop or using a tablet or a mobile device, they can go into that group and copy and paste from there. Play around with what works for you. There's a lot of different options. Some people will even use a scheduled posting site like Hootsuite, which is a free posting resource. You can schedule your posts in advance. That may or may not make sense for you, depending on what you're interested in. Melissa has used Hootsuite in the past, so if you have any questions, she's a great resource for you. And lastly, market your meeting. Just like an in-person meeting, you're going to go ahead and spread the word, except that instead of posting flyers in doctors' offices, midwifery groups, etc., you're going to be posting them generally by creating a Facebook event, talking about it in your group chat, using Facebook Live to spread the word, and then sharing status updates in that fashion. But really, as you can see here, the planning component, and as we move into leading your meeting, it's very similar to an in-person meeting. We also talked to Carly Early a little bit. She is a LLH League leader who just recently began hosting online meetings. One of the things that she found very helpful was right before she opened the online meeting, she did a live video explaining how the online meeting would work, as well as some of the background to the organization. I really love that video. Melissa and I both watched it because you can see her kids kind of running around and screaming in the background. And I love that because one of the big things about being a leader at an in-person meeting, and I remember very clearly during my application time, was that one of the ways that we help our group parents is by demonstrating loving guidance with our own children. And so I liked that that was still included in this video, even though they weren't actually seeing each other in person. We've also included a short video that I recorded to take some of the elements from Carly's video As an example of what you can do in marketing your own online meeting, you're free to use the video that I recorded or create your own and post it to your site. And now we're going to transition into leading your online meeting. This might be the part that makes you the most nervous, so we hope to spend some time talking about some questions or concerns you may have during the Q&A section. When it comes to leading your meeting, we do have some tips for leading your first meeting. Definitely have a co-leader. You can invite one of us, or you can invite a different experienced online meeting leader to co-lead with you. When I was setting up my own meeting, I attended several other meetings to observe and learn as to how I wanted to run my meeting. Be sure to explain how it will work using either a live video or posts, and you can also tell people how to turn on notifications. You can see that little box on the upper right hand side. That's a screenshot that I like to post into my groups as a reminder to please turn on all notifications. What that will do is it will help notify people automatically in their little status bar whenever anyone posts. If those notifications are turned off, people won't realize that you're posting questions. We mentioned it just a little bit ago, but lone leading versus co-leading. You definitely can lead a meeting by yourself. We've both done it. But again, when you're online, you're not ever really alone. There's always going to be a leader somewhere who's online and is able to help you.
I absolutely agree. I think another tip is that having a co-leader join you, you can use them as a plant to get conversations going, or they can help moderate while you focus on posting.
I remember once one of my co-leaders, who was actually, I have two co-leaders, but one of them was unavailable and one was planning on coming and ended up having a sick child and being unable to come lead the meeting, and told me about 15 minutes beforehand. And I was really nervous because it was probably my second or third online meeting ever that I had led. And so I frantically went over to the LLL Leader page and asked if there was anyone online who could help me co-lead my meeting. And in about 5 to 10 minutes, I had both Melissa and Trevor McDonald and I think a few others who said that they were willing to help. And they came in and helped me admin my page. And so it was really helpful so that I could just focus on posting questions and focus on my timing because I was really nervous about that. And they could help respond to parents' questions. Beginning your meeting, just like we mentioned, it's helpful to explain what's going on. In addition, you generally want to post your intro thread, a diversity statement if you have one, your question thread if you have one, and your first discussion point all kind of around the same time, fairly quickly.
I agree. You need to monitor the rate at which people are communicating and feel out the pace. Generally, we found that you're posting about every 7 to 15 minutes, more frequently early on to get people engaged, and then slowing down that pace later in the meeting so that people can have that deep conversation and then move on.
You can also post your intro thread a few minutes beforehand, which will send those notifications out and get people to start looking at your threads. When you explain how the online meeting is going to work, I think sometimes people have in their heads that they're going to be calling into a meeting or that they're going to have to use a webcam or some variation on that. And when people don't know what they're going to be doing, they get a little bit nervous and then sometimes just don't participate. So that's one of the benefits of either doing a live video to explain or posting some information beforehand.
Something else we have to consider is how we're going to manage questions. Are you going to have the members make new posts? Again, that goes back to how you set up the group and their permissions to post. Or will you put out a request for questions and have them post underneath that image and then reply to that question within the reply space?
At the very end of your meeting, be sure that you thank everyone for attending. One of the things that I like to do is tag my other co-leaders who were there so that folks have an easy way to get a hold of us, either through email or through the private messaging system on Facebook. And I also refer them to our group chat page. Invite them to your next in-person and online meeting, and then wrap up the meeting just like an in-person meeting. There's several other advanced techniques that you can do involving hyperlinking or other tricks that can enhance your online meeting experience. If you have questions about that, we can talk about that more offline, but we definitely at least want to let you know that it is an option if you're feeling like you're ready to dive into the next level of detail with online meeting.
Thank you, Megan, for joining me in this session. Really, when it comes down to it, leading an online meeting, you use the same planning and communication skills that you do in your face-to-face meeting and as referenced in your leader handbook. The only difference is that your participants are virtual instead of face-to-face. Thank you for attending. We hope that you've enjoyed this session and that it has given you some new ideas and things to think about.